Hello, everybody. This is just going to be a quick walkthrough on once you're in Fusion and once you've created an account, some of the basics. So first and foremost, I think you want to set up everything as far as preferences go and how you move around the environment to match as close as you can to Onshape, just to make your life a little easier. So if you go up into this top right corner, you'll see your name. If you go to Preferences, then it should pop up a box here. Yeah. So when we go to General, which is the very first tab, you'll see Pan, Zoom, Orbit shortcuts. If you change that to Tinkercad, it'll make it a lot easier for you to understand. It's the exact same then from Onshape it is in Fusion now. So that's literally the only thing. I'd leave it as free orbit and press OK, and don't mess with anything else in there. But that'll allow us to basically use the hold the right click to to rotate and do that kind of stuff, and everything else is pretty much identical. So up at the top here we have basically all of our tools just like we did before in Onshape, and on the left you have your browser as you populate and basically draw things and make things all the same. Difference down here on the bottom bar here, you will see basically a timeline, it's called, and this kind of keeps track everything you do from every command, every tool that you use will pop up down here as we do stuff. The background, I like to change this the very first thing. If you go to this little TV screen down here, you'll see you can go to environment. You can change these to different things. I'm gonna actually change it back to let's see, photo booth is what you usually come in with. Infinity pool, just because I think it's easier for you guys to see stuff. Everything else down here I wouldn't mess with. You can turn the grid off and that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't mess with any of that. It just basically shows you the grid. So anyways, from there, then you can come over to this little, I call it Rubik's Cube. And from the Rubik's Cube, yours might look a little different. I like it in grid view, but you can do it a list. And basically from here, you'll see something that looks along the lines of this. Obviously, excuse me, you won't have all of these folders. I've created a whole bunch of folders and projects that, over the years, basically. But what your goal is basically to just understand that this is where all of your saved projects and documents will be. So from there, you'll also see some little things that are different. And if you scroll over any one of these commands, it'll show you exactly what it does. Most of the stuff is extremely similar, just a different name most of the time to what we've done in Onshape up to this point. Couple differences: when you create a sketch, a plane will pop up. You create whatever, you select whatever plane you want. You can drop down the origin here, and you can see it's a little different. When you click it, it should automatically, and it doesn't anymore. That's kind of trippy. We'll finish that sketch. Go back into sketches here. There you go. See how it automatically goes to that view. It's kind of nice feature that's not an Onshape. But when we start drawing here, you'll see a whole new toolbar pops up. Again, most of the same stuff. You got line, you got rectangle, and if you press create, the multiple options, they're all the same. Mirror, all that jazz, the dimensioning, everything is pretty much identical. So this is the environment. This is only one environment. This is called the design environment. And as you can see, as I mentioned before, everything you do comes in the timeline, and this is where you could edit things and mess with things. So I'll finish this sketch. If you drop this down, you will see multiple environments, which is the big advantage of Fusion, I think, especially with what you guys are going to be working on if you choose to work on rendering or sculpting. So you'll see render here, you'll see simulation, animation, manufacturing, drawing, and those are just your drawing files. You can mess with all this, but again, these are just going to pop you into a whole nother environment. As you can see, it changes the toolbar, it changes everything. Animation is a whole nother setup. Simulations is a whole nother thing. It's a study, simulation study, and again, there's just infinite. You can do generative design, manufacturing, or CNCing. So this is basically the environment that you're going to be working with. You'll see the puzzle cube is the same. You can rotate around and do everything there. Joints and all that stuff and assemblies are going to all be in the same environment. That's a whole other world, but that's pretty much it for what the Fusion looks like when you guys open it. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just email your teacher. Thanks.